we're going to segue now to our first segment of our player ranking series, I guess, if you want to call it that. So, like I said, we're going to make it part of this. We're not just going to wait till, after the season. Now's a good time because the stove's kind of cold, and we can include it in the podcast and also post it as a separate video. So, we're doing, excuse me, just silent burp. Jeez. We're doing top 10 catchers today. Now, catcher is interesting because defense matters a lot, especially more than other positions, but it doesn't really matter if you can't hit, in my opinion. Like, if defense is the only thing that mattered, Austin Hedges and Roberto Perez would be 1 and 2 or 2 and 1. Perez is probably better defensively, but defense is very important. Compared to the other positions, defense is probably the most important at catcher, but that doesn't mean
Yeah.
you can not hit and be a top 10 catcher. Like I saw someone, oh my God, I saw someone call Roberto Perez a top 5 catcher before this year because he had a quote good year with an OPS plus below 100, which means you're below average hitter. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm looking at
It's
my list. So
disappointing.
yeah, funny story. This was the second video we ever recorded. We actually recorded 2 videos in our first day, just in case one of us missed a week. And then I didn't post it for a while, and because I want to do more time relevant stuff. And then a lot of the files on my computer got deleted, so I lost the file. But hey, we get to redo it now. And looking at my
Yeah.
list, I'm actually thinking about switching some stuff up. But yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, man. So starting with number 10, I don't really remember your list, so there should be a little bit of surprise factor still, because that's
I
kind
don't
of
remember
fun.
yours
We
either.
haven't shared our lists with each other, so it's gonna be like the overrated, underrated, best player thing. Like we're each made a list and we're finding it out on the spot. So coming at
Yeah.
number 10, I have Sean Murphy from the Oakland A's. In 116 at
Oh shit.
bats, he had 7 home runs. I think, yeah, 7 home runs. Shit, I don't have the freaking, yeah, 7 home runs because so I have a screenshot of the stats, but I don't have the label like home runs, RBIs, stolen bases.
Okay, I can
Yeah,
tell you if you want.
7 home runs, 14 RBIs, 0
Ew.
stolen bases, 233 average, not great, but he had 821 OPS because he had a 364 on base percentage,
Oof.
which is tremendous, and also his defense is very good. Bazooka arm behind the plate. His arm is pretty special, and
Yeah.
he's super young still too. So, he's gonna be a building block with the A's for a while. So, yeah, Sean Murphy.
All right. Well, for me, I went with in number 10, Wilson Contreras, because he was just around big league average in just about every category. The pop wasn't really there this year, but he still had a 356 on base and a 106 OPS plus. The framing and defensive runs saved were up, compared to his usual year. Not necessarily known as defensive catcher,
Yeah, his
but
framing
was
metrics
above.
are up a bit.
Yeah, his framing metrics were up for around 2 this year, which is above average. So good on Wilson Contreras, and I think we can see more of it in the future.
Yeah, man. So coming up next, I have Austin Nola. Seattle Mariners traded to the San Diego Padres. They definitely gave up a little too much to get the guy. His age is a bit concerning. He's kind of just broken out. I think he's 30 years old, which for a catcher is kind of old. But he had an
Mm-hmm.
825 OPS last year, 353 on base, 270 average, and 7 home runs, 28 RBIs. Just a really solid player. He just hasn't been up for that long, so you kind of forget about him. But they traded for the guy for a reason. I think he's has he's kind of in his prime right now and has a lot of room to improve, or not a lot of he has he has time to get better, and he has some
Mm-hmm.
chance to be even better because he hasn't played bad in his career so far.
He was
Especially
great last year.
yeah, especially also playing with Seattle, having a lack of line of protection around you, like that Austin Nola is a super solid player. So who do you have for number 9?
I also have Austin Nola.
Hey,
Yeah, his 129 OPS plus was really solid. And this is the one thing I want to look at. 11 guys tried stealing on him last year. He caught 6 of them, which is a 55% caught stealing percentage. That's really, really
that's
good.
real good. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I have to say about Austin Nola to add on to what you said.
All right, coming up next, I have this one hurts. Former Met and current Brave Travis d'Arnaud. Now you're probably thinking it's a bit low because of the season he had 919 OPS, 386 on base percentage, 321 average. Tremendous
That's
hitting
pretty
numbers.
good.
Tremendous hitting numbers. This is kind of his first. Like he had a very good year with Tampa. He always had flashes with New York, but struggled. He didn't stay healthy. He was always hurt and didn't really put it together for a single very good season. After getting DFA'd by the Mets and released by the Mets and then released by the Dodgers, like he got signed and then they released him like a week later. I think he got picked up by the Rays and then really kind of broke out there, and that led to him getting a contract. He was kind of supposed to be a platoon guy with Tyler Flowers, but yeah, you're not putting Tyler Flowers over Travis d'Arnaud.
He's a top
Defensively,
10 catcher.
oh my God, if you guys have seen some of our stuff, I talked about. We went over this list of which I should see if the guy has posted any other rankings. But he had a Tyler Flowers as a top 10 catcher, a defensive backup as a top 10. So yeah. A platoon maybe, but now I think Flowers is going to be put in a backup role because of how good Travis d'Arnaud was. So yeah, Travis d'Arnaud, number 8. I think he'll definitely climb up this list. He just needs to do it another year, and then he'll be maybe even top 5. And also defensively, a good framer, good blocker, but his arm is really bad. Like
Yeah,
really
he
bad.
sucks defensively.
Yep.
That shit
Hopefully the
horrible.
Braves have good enough pitchers to keep batters off base.
Yeah, I mean,
Or they're playing teams that don't steal bases all too well. Like there's not
yeah,
really many guys on the Mets who steal bases. A couple guys in the Phillies, a couple guys in the Nationals, but not, Marlins. I think you got a few guys, but stolen bases are they're kind of
dying.
declining. They're declining a bit more and more, but it's still very important.
Yeah, especially in a playoff scenario.
Definitely, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna take it from here. Number 8 for me was, you're not gonna like this one, and I know it. Christian Vasquez.
Why wouldn't I like it? Is it he's too low?
Yeah, because I think if I remember correctly from when we first shot, you had him a lot higher. But I
Yeah,
mean, I
I
could be
have him
wrong.
pretty high. Yeah.
Yeah. So he took a step back from his 2019 and had an 801 OPS, which is obviously still very good with solid defense. But I mean, he's just not, he doesn't stand out in anything. To be a top 5 catcher, in my opinion, you not only have to be very solid overall, but you also have to be incredible at least one specific scenario.
Yeah, that's fair. He's just very well rounded. That's what I like about Vasquez a lot. Like he's very good. He came up as a defensive first catcher and then figured out how to hit. So it's not like his defense is bad. He kind of does everything well. He doesn't.
Yes,
I
but he
agree with
doesn't
you.
do
Doesn't do
anything
anything elite.
outstanding. Mm-hmm.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I have him so low. I can definitely see anyone making the case for him going higher. It's just he just needs to improve something. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
Just anything.
Biased Yankee fan. Don't win the Red Sox. No, I'm just kidding.
Gary Sanchez, number 1.
Kyle Higashioka.
Don't disrespect Higgy.
Or what's the other? Oh, what's his name? The 40-year-old guy.
Eric Kratz. You forgot him already.
Yeah,
He's only been retired for a month.
Yeah, he's only been playing for like a couple years after. He's like the biggest journeyman I've ever seen. Like not only in the majors, like the minors as well. Like on Talking Yanks, he showed up his jersey closet. So yeah. Also, the anonymous Instagram account hasn't posted any new rankings, so I'm bummed about that. But coming up next, I have my list on my computer, but I wrote down my changes, so I got to remember look at the paper where I wrote it on my notebook.
Mm-hmm.
But I have Wilson Contreras, who below I had very high, but I'm kind of after kind of a down year. The whole team kind of had a down year, and just he's not as great defensively as other guys. I put him down here. He's still a very good player, and man,
Hmm.
his pickoff moves are nasty. But
Oh,
getting to the
yeah, the
numbers,
back pick.
yeah, 243 average, 356 on base. This kind of is kind of mad, like a 763 OPS. I know it's just 1 year. You can't, especially in a 60-game season, like a wacky year like 2020.
Hmm.
It's kind of tough. But career 814 OPS. I think there's better players than that. But
Yeah,
he's just a solid player, man.
fun to watch too.
He's very fun to watch. Yeah. And he has improved on his
Well,
you talked about him earlier. He has definitely improved on his framing and stuff.
defense.
Yeah, I got to remember not to read out the stats or if you did it previously, but whatever.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
yeah, we can listen to all we want to hear is Contreras stats. So yeah, bring on
Yeah,
stats.
Cubs fans love us.
Yeah, why? 'Cause he's too high. I mean too low.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Never mind. They don't love us.
Yeah,
Never
I was about to
mind.
say, man. Yeah, don't worry. Victor Carantini's number one.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait. No, that's spoiler. Why would you
Oh, I'm
spoil? Oh my
sorry. I'm sorry.
god.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Jesus. All right.
Who you got next?
My number 7 was Travis Darno because he's like the opposite of Vasquez in the sense that instead of being well rounded, he's like that only and nothing else.
He's not a
Surprisingly,
bad
he won.
framer. It's just
Yeah,
his
I know, but
arm
I
is
mean,
bad.
defense overall is more important than framing.
Well, there's
And he
kind of
wasn't
three
elite
aspects to you know,
fielding.
yeah. There's catcher, framing and receiving, and then you got blocking and throwing and
Well, I
framing.
mean, he can't
Framing's the
block or throw.
well, he's a bad blocker. I haven't looked into that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Couldn't catch a guy stealing. But I
That's fair.
mean, this was one of the best offensive catchers. Two very similar player comps are way higher for me because they were like Travis Darno, except they were better. And I can't wait to
Yeah, I
talk
know
about
one of them.
it. Hmm.
We'll
Yeah,
get to
you know
him.
one of them.
Yeah. All right. Coming up next, we have the newly signed New York Mets catcher James McCann, formerly of the White Sox,
Ooh.
and he was technically the backup slash platoon guy. He kind of played a lot because you can play him at DH, first base, stuff like that, and rotate the guys at catcher. But he had a better year than the dude who replaced him.
Oh, yeah.
896 OPS is very good, especially for a catcher. 360 on base percentage, 289 average, very nice. 7 home runs, 15 RBIs, and had a stolen base. So yeah,
Ooh.
let's go.
Some wheels, some wheels.
Yeah, defensively, he's not elite, but not bad. He's definitely improved a ton.
Mhm.
And his hitting has just improved a ton, which is what
Yeah.
I really care about. And like I feel like what now being a Mets fan, watching like every catcher is gonna be like, damn, that's a good defensive catcher for what after watching Wilson Ramos for 2 years.
Yeah, I
Hilarious.
swear.
I'm like, damn, you see that frame? It's like, dude, it was right down the middle. Yeah, but you see that wrist flick? Ooh, that's nasty.
Ooh.
Yeah. So yeah,
That's
the
textbook.
newly signed Met, James McCann. Welcome to the Mets, baby. Let's go. Woo. Woo. Like a crack there. Woo.
That's really convenient because my number 6 is also James McCann. And
Hey, you got that Mets. Let's go.
yeah, Mets
You
fans love
you can't
us.
be biased here because he wrote the list before McCann signed with the Mets.
And plus, like, spoiler alert, Gary Sanchez is not on my list. There is not a Yankee on my list.
Why are you spoiling it, man?
I don't know. I think by this point, they probably could have figured out that I wouldn't put Gary up there.
Yeah,
If I
if you're
did,
talking about the same attributes, you're talking about defense and stuff, and Gary's definitely you talked about, being good at one thing. Gary's definitely that guy. Like his
yes.
power at his position is insane. But
Hmm.
yeah.
One thing I will say about Gary though is that Statcast loved him because every time he
Hits
was
the
like
ball
the
hard.
most, he hits it super hard, but just got incredibly unlucky. So I
You
think a
gotta hit
bounce
it where
back
they
is,
ain't.
yeah, that's one thing that he could definitely improve on. This man looks like he either gets
Dead
3
pull.
straight fastballs up and in and is way late on all of them, or gets 3 sliders down away and he's way out in front and he strikes out on 3 pitches.
He reminds me a lot of Yoenis Cespedes and Marcelo Zuna, like the crazy left field pull swings. Like it's just like you're
Yes,
throwing the bat at the
yes,
ball with a huge, like,
yes.
one-handed, swing.
Almost like a Javi Baez, yeah.
Yeah. So that's your
Well,
number. What did we? That's number 6. Yeah. So
no, oh
coming in
yeah.
at
James
number,
McCann's my number 6, not
yeah,
Gary.
yeah,
Just
of
making
course,
sure.
yeah. Number 5,
Clear in the water.
I have Christian Vasquez, who you talked about. I might actually flip him and McCann, but actually I'm gonna keep Vasquez up there just because of the defense improvement.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, McCann had a better year. They've kind of been good at for the same amount of time. It's just Vasquez's defense kind of bumps him up there, and I know. You've talked about this a lot. McCann had a really cold second half in 2019.
We
Which
didn't
probably,
even get to see a second half of McCann in 2020. So,
right.
I mean, that's the only real
I wouldn't be too
bad
worried about
sign.
that. Like, especially with being a backup catcher, like getting those limited opportunities, you're still hitting that well.
Oh, that's incredibly hard.
Yeah, especially 7
Incredibly
home
hard.
runs and 97 at bats for like a
Ooh.
catcher is very
Ooh.
nice. So yeah.
Yeah.
So who was that? Oh yeah, Christian Vasquez. We don't really need to get too into him. I just have him up here. I have him up here a bit higher just because his defense is so good. And dude's a Met killer too. My God. All right, who's your number? What are we at? 5.
This one's a bit of a shocker. The Osmanian Devil, he had a very down year or I shouldn't say very down year. He just didn't really hit for average as normal, but he didn't really hit for much pop either. It was kind of like his 51 on base was still very, very good, and I do think he's going to bounce back. But he was above average, 13% above average, and still a very, very solid defensive catcher. But he just wasn't the same Grandal that the White Sox, I think, they were expecting to get. Whereas
like
he
I'm
came
looking at
into
his
this
career
year.
numbers, and like his career numbers aren't that great, but he's also had a couple like not great years with the Padres and the Dodgers. Like his 1 year with the Brewers was phenomenal, so that's a big part of it. But he also with Grandal, you're also getting insane framing. What's
Yes.
what's
I just had a revelation.
what?
So when he was back on the Padres, really young,
Yeah,
he was busted for steroids.
right.
Maybe that's where his 2019 came from.
Oh, nah.
Think about it.
Hey, well, Cano had a bounce back year, and then you see what happened. So maybe, but hey, you still got a great defender.
Oh yeah, he still can. He's
Yeah,
still
maybe
really
he's
good.
maybe the best framer in the league.
That is very, very debatable. Or I shouldn't say very undebatable.
Yeah, like it's like there's definitely other guys you could think of, but he's definitely in the conversation. That's what you're trying to say,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's your number 5. And number 4, I have Salvador Perez, the comeback player of the year. We never addressed that. Yeah, he won comeback player of the year with Bard from the Rockies, who was my pick, and then I picked Trevor Rosenthal. I didn't go with Perez, but
I prefer Trevor Rosenthal over Bard.
yeah. Oh, how the dude came back from 2013 was like the last time he. Oh shit! I dropped my pen.
Well, he wasn't good.
Dude, he wasn't
He
bad,
wasn't
especially
bad, but
for
he
the
wasn't Trevor
Rockies.
Rosenthal.
Yeah, but he played for the Rockies.
Trevor Rosenthal was still insane though.
Yeah, especially
And he's throwing
literally had the
100
yips.
after
Yeah.
surgery.
Did you see what he said about the Yankees?
Oh
He like
yeah, I did see
tweeted.
that.
Yeah, he tweeted like, "Hey, anyone? Or like, am I gonna have to shave my beard or something?" I'd
Yeah.
love the Mets to sign him. I think he'll go back to the Padres. It seemed like he's really happy. He seemed like he really liked it there. And they gotta bring back one of their bullpen guys. Like you can't lose Rosenthal and Yates, but back to catchers.
I think you can definitely afford to lose Yates, to be completely honest.
Yeah, he's older than you expect and had a really down year, but he had such a good year 2 years ago.
That split finger is disgusting.
Nasty, yeah. But back to the list. Who'd I have? Salvador Perez. Yes. So Salvador Perez last year had a bananas year. 986 OPS, 353 on base percentage. He refuses to walk. That's what you get with him. But a 333 average. He clearly hit. He has a 300 career on base percentage. That shows you how he, and a 269 career average. That shows you that he just doesn't walk. But his career, his career OPS is 949, and he had a
Oof.
749, and his
Uh,
career is 980. I mean, his 20. His career was 949 or 740. His career was 749, but this year it was 986. So that just shows you how like much he improved, especially coming off a year he didn't play, off freaking major surgery with one of the
Mhm.
worst lineups in the league. Like
Mhm.
dude's got what is like other than Whit Merrifield, down year Hunter Dozier, down year Jorge Soler. Maybe that might be the actual like those guys who've had one good year. Him and Jorge Soler. And who's your protection? Ryan O'Hearn and Alex Gordon. Like the dude
Who's
had a
not even on the team anymore?
yeah. Um yeah, so the dude had little to no protection and still hit insane 11 home runs too in
Yeah.
150 at bats. So like I don't know if you expect this moving on from this good offense, but also if you're getting a bit drop in offense, his defense is still great.
Mm.
Won a gold. I think
Eh.
he has 3 Gold Gloves, something like that. Super fun to watch play. He just needs to
Mhm.
improve his plate discipline. He just needs to walk more, and then he actually could be a top 2 catcher probably. I have him at
Ooh, all right.
I'm at 4,
4, right?
and that's definitely a fair spot. So who do you have it for?
I have Sean Murphy, who
Damn,
you put what, 10th,
10,
9th?
yeah, 10.
10th. Wow. I am very high on Sean Murphy.
To be fair, I'm extremely high on him too. It's just his first year.
Mhm. So yeah, that's the reason why I didn't put him up super high. 4 is very high, but I wouldn't call it like elite necessarily of the top
8.
10.
Oh, I forgot to mention for these rankings, we should put these guys into tiers. So like F tier, D tier, C tier. Well,
Oh,
obviously
that's a good
there's
idea.
no F tier. Before you continue, let's go back and say what guys we had. So Sean
Mhm.
Murphy, Austin Nola, Travis Darno. I have them all in. No, I have Sean Murphy and Austin Nola are B tier. Travis, actually, dude, pretty much all these guys are almost. I think all these guys are in A tier except for the couple at the top because they're top 10.
Yeah. I mean,
Screw that. Yeah. A
what
tier.
more can you ask,
And
ask
then
for?
Perez and up are S tier.
All right. Mhm.
That's a stupid comment by me. I was like, yeah, we should rank
It
these
was a
guys.
good idea and
Well,
thought.
yeah, but they're all great. Like if it was like ranking every catcher from every team, you could do it there. But um,
Yeah.
yeah, my bad. But
Oh, you're
um,
good.
yeah. So my number 4 and up are all gonna be S tier. So I'll say that. But who do you have?
All right. So I have Sean Murphy, and as I was saying, I think he's like the next Yasmani Grandal, but like the 2019 Grandal, because he walks at an incredible amount and hits for a ton
He
of
does.
power
Yeah.
in the Oakland Coliseum, which is not necessarily an easy place to hit it out.
Definitely
Uh,
not.
future Gold Glover for sure. I think he's
Definitely.
going to win at least 2, maybe 3 in his career. Going to see the All Star game. I think he's the future of the A's.
Yeah. I agree. I'm very high in this kid too. He's pretty young too. Was he 24, 25?
24, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So you heard it here first. We're the Sean Murphy boys. We're
Yep.
gonna we thought he was good before you guys did, except for
Yeah, we're
A
the
fans.
hipsters.
Yeah, A fans probably love the guy, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, coming in at number 3, I have Yasmani Grandal, just
Mm-hmm.
because of his track record. Now, especially after this down year, I think it's crazy to say he's the best catcher in baseball. I never thought he
Oh,
was, but
yeah.
I thought there was a bit of an argument originally, not anymore. But the dude is still a very good player. I don't agree with you that. Well, I don't think you're being serious about the whole steroids thing because
I
usually,
just think it's an idea.
yeah, it is. Especially
Yeah.
Ryan Brown's like, hey yo Yaz, I'll get you with the good stuff, man. Like, all right, cool. Um, but Yeah, he's a bit of a streaky hitter, but he gets on base very well, especially at in his best years, and
Hmm.
he just got to get that OPS up. He's never going to hit for that high of an average, but he
No,
usually hits for a ton of power. How many home runs did he have in
he
2019?
had 31 if I
Right, he had over 30,
remember
and
correctly.
he's a switch hitter
Maybe
too.
33.
Yeah, he hits from both sides of the plate,
Yeah, that's incredible.
which is awesome, very valuable, especially at catcher. Um, which is he's the only switch hitter on here, right? Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, are there any lefties on this list?
Uh,
No.
whoa. Same.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, we got 9 righties and a switch hitter. Damn, you lefty probably because left-handed. A lot of people hit left-handed, also throw left-handed, and you can't
Oh,
throw
yeah, that would make a
left-handed
lot of
at
sense.
catcher,
Yep. Yeah.
obviously because you can't throw to third. So that's probably part of it.
Oh,
But
that's a big part.
that's interesting, man. Yeah. Definitely on our other positions, we got to keep that in mind because I'm
Yeah.
curious to see which players hit from which side of the plate. But yeah, Yasmani Grandal being a switch hitter is also super valuable. So yeah. Who's your number 3?
My number 3 is Salvi Perez, comeback player of the year.
Yep.
Most wins above replacement of all catchers on my list and in baseball. Highest batting average with 333,
Yeah,
highest
that's
OPS
crazy.
at 986, and tied for most home runs and tied for second most RBIs. So, yeah, that's a pretty solid year if I
Ooh,
do
we
say
got a
so
signing
myself.
alert. We got a big news, dude.
Oh,
No
what? No
way.
way.
Yeah, I'm kidding. It's
Oh,
Edgar
no. Oh,
Garcia
God.
to the
Oh,
to
God.
the Reds. I'm just kidding. Yeah, DJ
I
make you
hate you
to
so much. Oh, my God.
DJ make you to the Red Sox. I'm just kidding. Edgar Garcia to the Reds. Don't
Okay.
worry. Well, you actually thought I was
Oh,
actually
my God.
serious.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny. I'm sorry,
I'm
man.
never going to believe anything you say again.
Hey, you would get the alert
I
too.
was terrified.
Oh man, no, yeah. What Edgar Garcia to the Reds isn't a big move.
Oh, no, it's huge.
Yeah,
It's monumental.
Reds got a stud.
Let's be honest, but I mean,
Yeah,
it's not LeMahieu.
yeah, I know. It's only the only thing that would be bigger than that would be a Tyler Rogers to the Yankee trade.
No, no way. Oh my God. Yup, yup, yup. Trade Gio for Tyler Rogers. You heard it here first.
Trade Aaron Judge for Tyler Rogers.
That's an even trade if we talk about playing time.
That that's fair. You
And
see,
I
even the
mean, when
Yankees fans admit it. Dude, funny story. I was texting with someone who's a Yankee fan last night, and they're talking about like, oh, Mets versus Yankees. I'm like, yeah, the Mets will probably be better when your whole lineup is injured. And when he's like, well, when they're healthy, I'm like, yeah, when they're healthy, it's all a bunch of right-handed power bats who strike out half the time. He was like, that's fair. Like, I hate watching all the strikeouts. So yeah, funny.
that's probably why LeMahieu's my favorite player. Him and
Yeah,
Gio, because they don't strike out too much.
yeah, I love me a good That's what I love about Jeff McNeil. Love me a good
Hmm.
contact hitter. It's like I
Yeah,
like Alonso so much too, because like him off the field and like him as like a personality too. But like play style, I prefer McNeil.
because
Like as yeah,
they're more fun to watch. They do things.
yeah. We've made it clear that we think the most exciting thing in baseball is like a big hit with runners on, because home runs
Yes,
are awesome
yes.
too. Home runs, especially when you can tell right off the crack of the bat that it's gone. But also
And
you
then they
see
have
so
like
much.
the super good pimp job.
Yeah, but also with these hits, like you see all the chaos in the outfield. Like the best play of the craziest play that made me scream this past year was the Brett Phillips hit in the World
Brett
Series,
Phillips. Yep.
which part of
Yep.
it was because it was a walk off and it was in the World Series. But I was like, oh my god, and I had no clue. My dad was watching it downstairs on the TV, and I was ahead of him. Um, and because I was watching on my laptop, and I was ahead of him, and he was like, whoa, and so yeah, that was a crazy play.
Yeah, that.
Crazy fuck up by the Dodgers, my God. And
Yeah, I know.
I
like
think
Chris
that
Taylor.
segues.
Seriously.
And also, do you know who fucked that play up too? My number 2 catcher, Will Smith. You see that segue? I know it
No, I
might
don't
be
blame
like,
him for that play at
yeah,
all. Because I
that
mean, like, who expects someone to stumble around third?
that's fair.
You're not trained to do that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Um, so Will Smith, is it a bit high? Well, a 980 OPS is pretty high, and a nine.
Oh,
And I know he's only been playing, 1.5 years, but it's not like he started out bad. He started out with like 2 hits against he made his debut against the Mets, and like the only thing that could kind of flag him for being lower on the list is because he kind of had a lack of time at catcher because he's good defensively, but like Austin Barnes is better, especially he's been there for a while, has kind of these pitchers who've been there a while, like Clayton Kershaw obviously kind of prefer to throw to their familiar guy, but I don't get why they play Austin Barnes over Will Smith. I think Will Smith will be the starting guy now without a DH. So I
mhm.
just expect another huge year. Whether you like it or not, regardless of position, those are incredible numbers. But for catcher especially, a 401 on base percentage
Oh,
is
oh my
just
God.
absurd. And he was phenomenal in the playoffs too.
Yeah.
So
Did you know that Will Smith homered off of
off Will Smith.
Will Smith?
Dude, pitcher Will Smith had surprisingly like a bad year last year. I was so pissed off when the Braves signed him because that was the one guy I wanted the Mets to sign. Because I'm
Hmm.
like, dude, that's like you have your players who you think are super good but don't get talked about. That was like my guy.
Yeah, I wanted the Yankees to get him too.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, I know he plays for a shitty team, but like you look at his numbers, you watch him pitch, like just because he doesn't throw 99 to 100, like, and he had a tough year too, which I'm happy about because he's on the Braves. Um, but yeah, pitcher Will Smith's a great player, but man, catcher Will Smith, god damn, who's your number 2? Man, I'm so
God damn, it's Will
so
Smith as well.
I'm so proud of that segue.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, the
I've been working
segue
on.
from talking about the World Series game and the error.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, that was the greatest segue I think I've ever heard.
Oh yeah, Dave
It was
Roberts'
such.
reaction to that play was money. Poor guy, man.
Yeah,
They still won the World Series, so they have the last laugh.
that's what
But
matters.
yeah.
Fuck you, Mike Brasso.
All right, number 2, Will Smith.
One more thing to say about him though. He had the highest OPS plus of all catchers at
Out.
164.
Holy shit! If you guys don't know what that means, if you're like not an advanced guy like me, that's 64 points above league average. And the thing I like about OPS Plus is that it brings in park factor and stuff. So when freaking Mets fans tell me that trading for Arenado is a bad idea because he's not good outside of cores, I'm like, well, OPS Plus. Oh, he's too expensive. That's another thing. Oh, he's too expensive. First of all, it's not your money, and also, we just got fucking Steve Cohen. Why don't you embrace the fact? Oh well, we can't get we can't get depth if we sign all these big guys. I'm like, dude, you could get depth for the freaking league minimum.
Yeah, exactly.
There's
That's
so
what
much
depth
you can
is.
get like a damn dude like Brett Anderson or something like that, like a depth starter. Boom, there's your depth guy, and
Yeah,
you
you
got
offer Brett Anderson 1 million for 1 year. You lock him up right there.
yeah.
It's so easy. It's not like he would even like go to another team after hearing that kind of offer because that's not what they want to hear. That's not what they expect to hear.
And that's not just Brett Anderson. That's like any guy in his ballpark. There's a lot of, especially
Exactly.
with teams that aren't, paying guys anything this year. You could get
Mhm.
guys like Julio Tehran as depth starters. So yeah.
Yeah.
So that's our number 2, and we obviously have the same number 1. Former Philly, he might go back. Current free agent JT Realmuto. We've talked about him. He's basically a 5-tool player at catcher. He can run insanely well for a catcher. 4 stolen bases for a catcher is insane. And I know stolen bases aren't everything. But also, speaking of Salvador Perez, he had a freaking stolen base. Who would have thought?
Whoa, no way.
Yeah, 5 career, 1 stolen base this past year. But JT's got 44 career stolen bases, which for a catcher is insane.
Yeah.
Dude's a ridiculous athlete. He hits for power, hits for contact. He's one of the best defensive catchers in the league. His pop time, throwing wise is insane. Great framer. He's just such a well-rounded player.
Hmm.
He's just easily the best catcher. in the league. I was bummed that the Mets didn't sign him. Now I'm happy when they can if you get another guy. But dude, Real Mutos, he's just so good.
Yeah. One more thing to say. Not only does he hit for power and average, but he also walks a
Yeah,
very nice clip.
349 on
He
base percentage.
compared to a 266 batting average,
Yep.
which is so that's like almost 80 whole points, 90 whole points right there.
Mhm. Yeah, man. He's a phenomenal 840 OPS. Um, you could say, oh well, he only has a 783 career OPS. Yeah, but don't forget he played, his first couple years in Miami, which is not a hitter's park at all.
It's not
Um,
anyone's park.
yeah,
It's
yeah, it's not
stupid.
it's
That's what
not
it
the
is.
fans' park.
Yeah, no way.
I like Marlins Park, man. I know you don't,
Oh
but I
yeah,
think it's
yeah. The
cool.
nice vibrant blue
Dude,
seats.
that's Miami, man. If you've seen the Dolphin Stadium, it's the same kind of way. But dude, there's a freaking nightclub in the stadium like that. That's cool. And the
Whoa, they
swimming,
do?
I think, yeah, it's called like look up Marlins Park, the Clevelander. Um,
Oh, okay.
and
The
do they
Clevelander.
Clevelander? Yeah, the Clevelander.
What?
Yeah,
We should call them the Cleveland Marlins then or something. That's the name. Cause like, dude, you're using the wrong fucking city.
I don't know what the Clevelander means, but it definitely means something different. But
It definitely doesn't mean the Miamier.
but rest in peace to the Marlins statue because that statue was dope.
Yeah, that was actually kind of cool.
To the home run.
Yeah,
Rip to their whole team, man. Jeter and the boys tore that thing down, but hey, it
I'm
kind of worked in
glad
their favor.
they took it from Jeffrey Loria, who would probably run it into the ground even more.
Wait, who they
Fuck
took it
you,
from?
Jeffrey
Who?
Loria.
Loria, or because I know Jeffrey Lurie is the owner of the Eagles, but who's? Oh,
Loria.
Loria. Yeah, I've heard about how bad he is.
Yeah, look him up. Read
Yeah,
some articles.
I've seen.
Good God, he's atrocious.
I've seen like the decline of the Miami Marlins videos and stuff.
Have you seen the Expos one?
I haven't. No. Look
Oh,
that
there's
up.
the Expos video by Urinating Tree.
Oh, I may have seen that. I'm not quite sure. I gotta check that out. For
That
sure.
is your Jeffrey Loria perfect
Oh,
like scenario thing.
he was the Expos owner.
Yep, and that's why the Expos didn't get any fans and ran into the ground.
Shit.
Then he bought the Marlins.
Yep.
Did the same fucking
Same thing.
thing.
Dude, we should get I want to go the 7-line army should do a thing in Marlins Park, and it would literally be a Mets home game. It would like there it's kind of like people are talking. I saw this interview with JD Davis and Jeff McNeil. They're like, the interviewer's like, I don't want to be rude about this, but do you guys feel like you have an advantage because you're used to playing at empty stadiums when you play in Miami so often? They're like, yeah, we kind of know what it's like. Or like when CC Sabathia, him and what's his name, Ryan something, their podcast. They interviewed Tyler Glasnow, and he was like, I know I had to ask the question. Fans are going to be like, oh well, they already social distance in Tampa, so they don't need to play in an empty stadium or something like that. Which it's really, and he was kind of laughing about it. They think it's funny too. He's like, yeah, man, it's nothing like getting heckled at your own stadium when we play the Red Sox and Yankees. It's like, where the fuck did all these Yankee fans come from? But yeah, man. Any last words about JT Realmuto?
Not too much about Real Muto.
Yep. Where do you think he's gonna sign?
The
Dude, it's
Mets.
such a question mark. You think he's going to the
Oh wait,
Mets?
no, they just what
They
am I
just signed
saying?
McCann.
Nope. Yeah, never mind. I forgot. I completely blanked.
Hey,
He signed the
McCann's not
Angels.
signing with the Angels. Yeah, that's fair.
All
I
right.
like I like him going to the Angels or the Blue Jays or like the teams that need him aren't paying. The teams that need him aren't getting him. Like the Rockies desperately need a catcher. They're not getting him. The
Tony Walters.
Yeah, the Tigers, they're not.
Oh, I
He's
was
not
reading an
gonna go
article
lose. Yeah, but he's
a
not gonna
while
sign to
back.
lose.
Yeah, a while back though, I said like if I had to make a sleeper pick for JT, it would be the Tigers.
Oh, that's
And
such
I
a
was
good fit
reading,
though, because they have such a young,
yes,
pitching
an
staff.
MLB article writer is obviously watching our videos because they
Oh,
ranked them as like the number 2 team to sign him.
what did
And I
we
was
did we
like,
say he
no
should go to
way.
the Tigers?
I said it.
Oh,
And then I
really?
explained like the young pitching staff and everything. And that's exactly what the guy said.
Yeah. Hey, well, just to humble you down a bit, I saw another baseball YouTuber who actually said that the Tigers need to sign JT Realmuto because of how good their how much potential their young pitching staff has, and especially with AJ Hinch in the fold now, like
Mm-hmm.
that could be pretty good.
Well, we obviously need to flag both of those articles for plagiarism.
Yep. Well, one of them was a video, not an article, but you get the
Well,
point.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.